Alright people, how we doing? Hope you're having a good Saturday night. I'm just sitting chilling with a can of brew and a fucking packet of Star Mix. I'm on the heavy shit tonight, no. Try to stay off it. Kidding on. What to say thanks to all the people who are subscribing to my channel and like telling me like how they can identify with my history because like they grew up with parents that were addicts or they went through similar experiences, or some of them sounded like they were worse experiences, so it's quite encouraging to hear that some people are listening and taking it in, no. I want to give a shout out to the boys for the south side that were commenting and that on some of my videos, and we know some of the same people for in the prison or whatever. Dodgy bit of the city that at one point. I don't know what it's like now, but I'm sure back in the day when I just got that 16 year, I'm sure there was a lot of shit kicking off down there. Shootings, murders every other day, man, do you know what I mean? I'm sure in 2004 or 5, Glasgow was actually labelled the murder capital of Europe. Or was it Western Europe? Probably Western Europe, because Eastern Europe's crazy, you know what I mean? And I'm sure a lot of the kind of violence that was happening in the city and a lot of the murders and all this shit was all kind of happening down that bit of the city, like down that Nits Hill way and Park and all that fucking crazy areas, man, no. But good people there, know what I mean? Been in with a lot of people for a while that pitch, but fucking the reason that I was coming on the night, right, is I've been trying to tell this story for ages. It's quite funny, well humorous, but if it happened to you, you wouldn't be fucking laughing. And it involves my pal Jerry, right, for the Gorbals, who I've spoke about in quite a few of my videos. So a few years back, we're going back a good 10 years or something, right, maybe more, give or take, right. My pal Jerry was the pass man, right, in Kilmarnock jail, in the surgery. So for those of you who don't know what a pass man is, another word would be, like in America, they call it a trustee inmate, like basically it's your job. So if you were the education pass man, that would mean you help the staff and clean their offices, all that kind of shit. So he was the surgery pass man, right? So he would say clean the surgery, fucking help out with odd jobs, all this kind of shit, right? And there was a guy who was in the dentist, right? The guy was, this is a con, this is an inmate, right? And this dentist was trying to put him under, right? Give him anaesthetic or whatever. He was struggling to do it, right? So the con ended up saying to the dentist, you'd be as well getting the pass man to come and help you, right? So fucking, he's went and shouted at Jerry and fucking, he's handed, like, know how is it, a cannula, right? Put the cannula in, right? He's give Jerry a syringe. Who the fuck does this, right? Might be a professional and he's giving a fuck, I don't care how trusted you are, man. That's just fucking, they say unethical, we just say like, what the fuck were you thinking, mate? So he's give Jerry this fucking syringe, right, with 6 times the dose, right? But these 6 doses were meant to be spaced out over the space of the treatment, right? But Jerry didn't know that, and Jerry gave him the fucking full dose in a wanner, right? And the guys just started like going blue or something, and I shouldn't laugh, right, but I remember Jerry telling me this when I was in Kilmarnock with him and I was actually rolling about in stitches, like, thinking, this is just too surreal to believe, but this is all like this was on the papers, not so. When the guys started kind of turning blue or whatever he was doing, he went unconscious, right? And the dentist has done that to Jerry, go and get help or something, or whatever, right? So Jerry's ran out the room, right? See, when he came back, the dentist has ripped all this guy's teeth out. Like, that was just fucking mental, as if he was trying to get, like, here I'm still getting paid, know what I mean? Fucking ripping the guy's teeth out and he's nearly code blue, know what I mean? Wow, man, like, so, which ended up happening is fucking, there was like, all sorts of fucking, obviously the guys came to, right? Guys came to, and he's obviously noticed he's no fucking gnashers left, right? He's just pure kicking off and all that. He's walked right up to D-Hall and demanding shit and all that. I want this, want coffee, want out for the phone. They've just let him because Kilmarnock's kind of, don't want to say lax, right, but private jails are different in Scotland for SPS jails, because what I mean by that is the staff are just different. Like, I would almost describe them, and I don't mean this disparagingly, right? I would almost describe them as like security guards. They're just there to make sure nobody's breaking out, killing each other. See, other than that, they don't give a fuck. They let you away with a lot more stuff. And they're easier to talk to, believe it or not, as opposed to, like, see, like, some of these other jails I've been in. Kilmarnock was actually alright for that, and same with Adderwell, but anyway, so this guy's pure kicking off and all that, and he's went and phoned his sister. He's told his sister everything that's just happened. So it ended up there's a big investigation and all that, and Mad Jerry's walking up the route one day, right, and he's been carrying something he maybe shouldn't have had, and he gets stopped by the security, right? He's like, ah, man, thought I was done, but turns out they were stopping him to, like, they were pulling him up about what he had done, like, basically try to, like, lay the blame on him. It's maybe testing his reaction and all, not I mean, see if he's got a crumble, but he's as wide as a Clyde, as we say, round these here parts, no? Jerry's like that. How he gave me a direct order, I can't refuse a direct order off a member of staff in the prison, which is actually that's quite funny when you look at it. It's what Hannibal says, that's rather slippery of you, Agent Stalin, because what he's basically done was use their own rulebook to outmaneuver them, if you want to call it that. So the security said to Jerry, well, you better tell your family you're got to be in the paper at the weekend. And there was a big fucking story in it, and I think it was the News of the World or something, or the Sunday Mail, one of the two, right? And I don't know if the guy got, I don't know if that dentist got like any sanctions, but what happened was he definitely get hanged out to jail. He got, like, couldn't work in the jail anymore. And then, see, like, after this, like, when I was in Kilmarnock with Jerry back in, so I went to Kilmarnock 2015 and got out for Kilmarnock in 2019, right? This is how Jerry came to tell me this story. I'd never heard about this, right? But he told me about it while I was in, but he'd been doing Kilmarnock years ago, left, went to another jail, and then ended up back in there with me, so that's how he got to tell me about it. And there was a screw that told him how, see that same dentist, he had a practice in a small Ayrshire kind of town, a small town, a village called, was it Drongen? Drongen? I think they say Drongen, but it looks like Drongan, right? But they say Drongen. I think that's how they say it. His practice got shut down permanently because 3,000 of these patients had to be tested for blood-borne viruses, right? Because it was so like some of these, it's kind of common sense, really, right? Obviously, the medical profession has standards like any other profession, but when it comes to medical stuff, you can't be reusing equipment and all that shit. Like you're supposed to change your gloves, your latex gloves, right, after every patient. He was using this. He wasn't even changing them. He was like using, what are the things called where you put them on your teeth and that. He was using them on multiple people. Just then, and that's the thing I know. See that thing? He was only trained in removing teeth. He wasn't a fully trained dentist, and he's working in a fucking prison, right? He wasn't trained in pre-op techniques, post-op techniques, how to put in a cannula, all this shit. He wasn't trained to do any of that, and he's pure winging it. And the funny thing is, right, so obviously I looked this up online as well, right, because obviously with my pal telling me about this story, you want to kind of do a bit of due diligence, know what I mean? And what's ended up kind of coming back was he got struck off the, so obviously, so say like if you're complaining about a lawyer, it goes in front of the Law Society, so like they regulate the lawyers and all. So with the dentist, it's let's say the Royal Dental Council, whatever. They basically were just shirking him, saying you're bringing us into disrepute, you've made a mockery of this profession, all that shit, which kinda speaks for itself. And see, the funny thing is, right, see when I was looking online, right, I seen things that he'd been doing which was quite suspicious. He'd been faking invoices for equipment that he'd never purchased, right? And there was quite a lot of that going on. And you have to ask yourself, right, what was he doing that for? And I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that he was in debt or he'd a drug habit or something, because it reminded me a bit of, obviously it's an extreme example, right? So see the serial killer Harold Chipman, he was a GP, right? He was a doctor, and he was just going about like ending people's lives with, like, because no, a lot of us will question a doctor, do you know what I mean? You're just assuming Hippocratic oath, they're there to help and they shall do no harm and all this kind of stuff. And like I would almost go as far as saying you would put blind faith in some people, and a doctor's one of them. There's no many, but a doctor, somebody in the medical profession, because you think they'll just try to help you, and you just want to get better. Do you know what I mean? The small parallels that I seen was, see the Harold Chipman case, he was doing weird things like that at the very, very, very start of his career. Like, I'm sure he had been struck off, like, before he was doing these murders and, like cooking the books, but no financially, but like, because he was a morphine addict, I'm sure, and I think he was like fucking dabbling with the stock. And I'm not saying this guy's going to be a Harold Chipman. What I'm saying is, when there's somebody who's in a profession like that, an esteemed profession, and they still manage to turn out like that, like, you've got to ask yourself why, do you know what I mean? Faking invoices, like, that's how you, like, basically, that's one form of getting away with, like, laundering money or something. That's like a tactic, and it's faking invoices and all that, do you know what I mean? not saying that's what he was doing, but definitely think this guy must have had a drug habit or a gambling habit or something. Nobody just does that. Do you know what I mean? For what reason? Just to have extra money? You're a fucking dentist, mate. You must be making good money anyway. But the funny thing to this is, right, my pal Jerry, he was up in a place called Easterhouse, right, quite a well known notorious part of Glasgow, right, for those of you that don't know. And he says this guy was looking on him and says, what's your name, mate? And Jerry told him his name, and he's like, his pal, here, I told you that was him. And he says, does a favour, Jerry, gonna put this to bed? And he's asked him about this thing that I'm talking about. Did you sedate somebody for the dentist doing Kilmarnock? And he says the guy was in Shot's prison, and he says he'd heard people talking about this. So like this story's quite like in prison circles in Scotland. Like this was quite well known, do you know what I mean? And I had never heard it till I met Jerry and he told me about it. But see, it's almost too fantastic to believe, do you get me? Like a fucking prison dentist, that's the kind of shit you'd expect to hear about in like America, right? Like fucking, there's always mad prison scandals over there, do you know what I mean? That's the kind of shit I would expect to hear over there. But it just goes to show you, like, who else are they fucking employing that's a bit shady? They one and I hardly reported sick in the jail, know what I mean? Because I think some of them can be quite biased, because it's as if, see when you need to report sick because of the high rate of like addiction issues and that in prison, when you go into a room to speak to one of them, it's almost as if you can see their fucking wheels turning in their heads, because they're thinking to themselves, what's his angle? The wrong attitude to be working there. And there's guys down there trying to work it and all that shit, but they should be smart enough to be able to kind of distinguish between who needs help and who is just playing them or whatever. But so that guy's out of business now, and he's struck off the dental register, and he's I'm sure he's too, see, like, he's too, they're no dentists, but like they worked in the dentists with him, two women, I think they got struck off whatever professional body they were a part of. So fucking madness, innit? Imagine going into jail, right? I'm bald, right? Obviously I would rather have my hair, but see, being bald, right, I love it, it doesn't bother me. But see, if I lost all my teeth, fucking hell, man, it would just totally change your appearance. I couldn't imagine that, going down to the dentist, right, and by the time I wake back up, all my teeth have been ripped out. Because he probably gets paid per tooth or something, and he's been like, yeah, you're not going fucking nowhere, I'm getting paid stupid. Both man ripped all his fucking teeth out. Like, what? I'm surprised the guy didn't, if he woke up, probably wasn't in a fit state, probably he was still all over the place for the anaesthetic, know what I mean? 6 doses he's fucking gave him the manner, know what I mean? He's lucky he didn't die. But fucking, oh, what, man? I'd have been raging. I don't know if the guy tried to like make a claim. He should have, but do you know what I mean? Because that's just madness, know what I mean? What happened to him? So I hope you found that entertaining, enjoyable, funny, I don't know. But when the way Jerry told me as well, I was in tears of laughter, because I just couldn't believe it as well. But no laughing at somebody's misfortune like that, but just laughing at the sheer insanity of this man. You know what I mean? Mad. So hope you are having a good Saturday night. Probably not be on tomorrow because of the game. Might never know. I might think of something to come on and talk about. So I'll speak to you next time I'm on. Have a good night and take care.